My name is Lyle Kuster. I'm the owner of Handy Andy's Nursery and Ace Sprinkler Systems in Williston, North Dakota. I originally, when I graduated from high school in 1976, worked for Handy Andy's as a common laborer. I worked for them for several summers while I was going to college, and then when I graduated from college with a biology degree, I went out into the oil field like most young men in the early 80s. After 5 years in the oil field, I decided that that wasn't where I needed to be. And on the prompting of several friends and neighbors, I started a lawn sprinkler business. I went from a comfortable salary of about $32,000 a year down to $500 a month. When I first got into the lawn sprinkler business, we found a '61 Ford truck that was sitting in a farmer's yard. So I paid him $500 for this old truck, and I bought probably a $15 or $20 shovel. And that is how I got into the lawn sprinkler business. The first purchase I made was with cash because I had no credit. And so I went and bought enough supplies to get through my first job. I was in the lawn sprinkler business for about 10 years when the opportunity to buy this nursery came up. The owners were still the same as who I'd worked for, and they were looking to sell it and having a hard time with it. The banks were not willing to loan money on what they considered blue sky. They wanted to have something such as real estate or equipment in order to have collateral for their note, and the building and equipment in this particular business was quite old, and so it was not worth enough for the banks to loan. Fortunately, the previous owners knew me well enough and were willing to take a risk on my character where they financed it for me, and over a period of 5 years I paid them back with interest, and therefore they got a little bit more than the selling price. One of the biggest obstacles with any business is keeping good employees. The oil field today has created a tremendous pressure on salaries, and so most young people see these big dollars in the oil field, and it's hard to compete with that. I have been fortunate enough to have a lot of family working for me along with several other good employees, and that has made a big difference. Another obstacle that you're going to run into when running your own business is that you are the only one responsible for everything. It turns out being a 24-hour job, 7 days a week. Mine is seasonal enough where in the winter I do get a couple weeks off, but it really is basically from the physical work in that it takes me that long in the winter to catch up on most of my bookwork. The nursery business, I believe, is going to continue to grow. One, they say that the area is, because of the oil field and the economy looking up, is going to continue for several years, and people, if they have one thing that they keep, is generally their home. And the way that their home looks is very important to them, and so I don't see the businesses going downhill because of economy. We've always found that we have as much work as we can handle. I don't get days off in the summer. I don't have time where I'm looking for work anymore. And if you work at your reputation, our big motive in selling flowers was to give people a good selection with a competitive price. And if you're friendly and you give people a good product and you stand behind your business and promote yourself in the community, I think that any business will thrive. I remember when Super Walmart was going to build, there were quite a few people that said that that was going to be a real detriment to my business. But I look at competition as just something to make you strive to be better. When they did come in, people went there and looked at the quality of the plants that they had. Maybe the price was better, maybe it wasn't, but they decided that they wanted a better product than what they could buy at the big box stores. And so things like that, although they may appear on the outside as being something that would be detrimental to the business, actually make you grow to be better and more successful. Advertising has always been an important part to my business, but it costs money also. When we started, most of the advertisement we got was from word of mouth, from friends telling friends, or people driving by, or people in the neighborhood seeing us working there and coming over and asking us to give them an estimate of what we were doing and how much it might cost in their yard. Now I find that we have to spend money on commercial advertising. We use all the medias. We use TV, we use radio, we use paper. More so because people just don't know that we're around. There's a lot of young people nowadays that are moving in that have no idea who we are, where we are, and what we do. And even though advertising money seems to go just out, we have found that if we quit certain ads, people come back and ask us why we're not advertising in this, that, or the other thing. And so it has assured me that our dollars are being heard out there. I have seen young business owners start, and usually the first thing that I see that they do is they put themselves in debt by buying maybe a fancy piece of equipment, maybe a pickup that they think they look good in. I hired somebody to run a pipe puller to pull pipe in my yard so that I didn't have the equipment costs, and I knew basically what my costs up front were before I went into the business or that particular yard. Equipment costs money, and with that money is payments. And if you're in a seasonal business like I am, sometimes those payments can get really, really hard to make when you have no cash flow in the wintertime.